Okay, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create what I call a canvas project. You can do as many canvas projects that you want, which is basically just a project for working on one particular given painting. So we do that by coming over here to the new canvas project button, click on it, and then we have a little form that we have to fill out, uh, and we can pretty much call it whatever we want to. We pick a canvas size, a physical canvas size, in other words, 9 by 12 inches or 8 by 10 or 16 by 20, etc. I'm going to pick 9 by 12, and then I'm going to select my photo, a photo that I want to use to do a painting. So let's see what I will pick today. Uh, let's pick this beautiful picture here, and we can then bring it in and crop it however we like, whatever we feel is a good composition. Uh, kind of like that. So we'll crop. Then after we've cropped, uh, you can tell it's cropped by the crop button will be disabled now. You go down, you click next, and now we're on our upload page. Now if you say, I think I'll go back, you can go back to the previous button and reselect another image. You might have to reselect the same, but um, anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll do an upload. So now we're going to go, Monet's Cat will take us into the step-by-step feature. And as you show, this shows the size canvas that you need, other supplies that you'll need as well, and the named colors that you will need to do this painting. So you can minimize this in case you want to come back and look at something, or you can just click the X. And so you see here on our main first preview, which is what always loads when you select a Canvas project, whether from over here in the folder saved Canvas projects or if you're creating a new one. This will always be your initial screen. So you see on here a couple of tips pop up. I'm going to add a feature so you can turn these tips off, because once you get to know, how to navigate around, these kind of become annoying. So I'm going to add that feature soon that you can turn tips off. But for newbies, you might find these helpful. So anyway, let me explain here what we're seeing on the screen. The preview, of course, means that this is basically what our painting is going to look like once we reach the last step, and it has 7 stages. And I will sometimes confuse the word step and stages. A stage is kind of like a chapter. If you had a instruction guide, it would have perhaps chapters, and each chapter would have steps. And in these steps, in each of these stages, we have 5 steps typically, until possibly the last stage might have fewer, because what it's doing is it's reducing the colors that are in your image down to like 35 colors. So this can be changed. This is a feature. You have settings here where you can actually change the color slice, and you can increase this to 50 or 100 or whatever. Of course, it's going to make you have many steps, because as many colors as you choose determines the number of steps that you choose, and the number of steps divided by 5 basically gives you the stages that you're going to be painting in. So anyway, just to show the feature of this, we can the stages is so we can click on a stage and sort of hop from stage to stage. So I'm click stage 4. We see our colors that we're going to be painting on this stage, or we can click all the way to the last stage and the whole canvas will be filled in. But I'm going to go back to stage 1. Actually, I'm going to go back a little bit more to the preview stage. And then after the preview, the next step, and I need to add this to the stages menu, the next step is actually the step where, as it says here, we prepare the canvas by drawing a 2-inch grid using the T-square. The grid system is really at the core, in some ways, of Monet's Cat. It's an ancient method that's been used by artists for centuries. And so I highly recommend it. The better you get at it, perhaps the less you'll need it, because you'll be able to see proportions and relationships. That's really what, in a way, drawing and painting is fundamentally about: relationships of images. What is the distance between one thing and another relative to the outline? I'm going to minimize the stage by clicking on the Stages tab. So another thing I want to show you here, though, is if you upload a picture or an image that's very busy, you might get a whole lot of sketchiness that you don't want to see. So you can go up here to this button that says toggle sketch on and off. So I can actually toggle the sketch itself off, but it leaves us with a grayscale image in the back that still kind of provides us with some kind of visual cues and clues and hints at where things should be placed. So anyway, once we've gotten the grid drawn off, next part, of course, is to do a sketch. Try to do the sketch as accurately as you can. Don't overdo in terms of detail, but put in what you think is essential to the composition of the painting. And then we can move on to stage one. Now, stage one here is our 5 most populous colors. That's what Monet's cat does. Another feature is that it takes you from the largest color masses down to the smaller detail. The last stage, stage 7 in this case, will have our finest detail. In fact, it might be so fine we can omit it. That's just something that it's in your judgment. And let me make this point here, that just in broad terms, Monet's cat is not a dictator. It's just a friend, a help. And so don't ever feel like you've got to do everything according to what you see on the screen. You know, have some freedom in terms of how you execute the painting. Okay, but let's look. The most populated mass of color in this particular painting is this color. And I'm going to click on it like the tip says. And you see what happens when you click on it. Then that color becomes isolated, separated from all the other colors that are in this particular stage. Also, we're given a suggestion as to how we might mix this color. And of course, really, it says half cadmium red light and half cadmium red light. Obviously, that means cadmium red light. But maybe it suggests to us that we need more than just a little bit of cadmium red light to be able to paint all of this on the canvas, on your physical canvas. Okay, the next thing that I would point out while we're here, and that is that you can click on any square in it, and it is a 2 by 2 inch square. Of course, if you've done your grid correctly on your physical real canvas, your 9 by 12 canvas, then you can enlarge any square so that you can better see the detail that goes in that particular part of the grid. So keep that in mind. If you need to see something a little more clearly, definitively, you can click on the grid and see it. Okay, let's go to step 2. Okay, step 2, much the same thing. You're getting the idea, I'm sure. Monet's cat is really not that hard to use. Once you understand just a few fundamental principles, you're good to go. So just continue to do this. Continue to mix your colors. Oh, and by the way, if you're on a particular step, which is what I call these paint spots, there are actually 5 steps per each stage. If you're on a particular step and you want to go back and see all of the colors of this step, you can toggle the stage composite of colors on and off with this little button. So if we click on it, we'll go back to seeing all the colors, and sometimes that's useful to put things in visually in context. Okay, now let's go to stage 2. You see over here it says stage 2. All right, so we see the painting is a little more filled in at this stage. This is what it should fundamentally look like once we're completed these 5 steps of this particular stage, stage 2. So again, you get the idea. We just click on the colors. We see where to put the colors. We see how to mix the colors. The 2 greatest secrets, and they're really not secrets, The two greatest principles of painting are putting the right color mix in the right place. And that's what Monet's cat fundamentally addresses and helps you to do. Okay? So we'll go on through the stages 4, 5, 6, and then finally 7. We've reached the final stage and we have a completed painting. But what if we want to see on any stage, we want to turn the grid off? We can come up here and click the grid button and it will remove the grid for us. Or maybe we even don't want to see the background color. What Monet's cat does is it gives you an average complementary color of your picture to kind of just make things a little more pleasant, give you ideas about what it would look like on in a particular frame or mat or wall color. But anyway, this is where you turn that on and off, and here is where you turn the sketch on and off, and here is where you turn the grid on and off. Clicking on it, we can enlarge. Okay, 2 more features here I want to show you and we'll be done. This little camera, as it says toggle side-by-side view of original photo, if you click it, you get to see what is on the screen here. You get to see side-by-side the original photo and the execution of the photo as Monet's cat has provided it for you. Sometimes you just want to go back and look at the original to get a better idea. Maybe there's a little detail that was sort of omitted here that you want to include, or a color, a value of a color, etc. This always lets you do that, and then you can toggle it back off and go back to the original screen. Last but not least, you're through with your lesson. You've enjoyed it. You want to share it with other people. Well, if you click on this share link and you copy this URL, this address, and you paste it into Facebook, for instance, if you're doing a post, you can paste it there. You may have to adjust what pictures it suggests for you. But anyway, if you share this link, or perhaps even in an email, then others are able to get into your lesson, but they won't be able to make changes to your lesson. That's very important. They won't be able to go over to the settings and change what the color slice is, or anything, or the palette that you're using, etc. They'll just be able to view the lesson, but they'll be able to actually use it to go step by step and to do the lesson for themselves. Well, I've tried to do this quickly. I hope that it's been helpful and informative. I would think it wonderful if you would register today. If you have not yet registered for Monet's Cat, it's free. Just go to monetscat.com and register, and you'll be able to enjoy all the functionality of Monet's Cat. Right now, whoever registers is a member for the life of the site. As long as the site is up, you'll have access. You'll be able to create unlimited projects. I just asking early joiners to help me complete the process, to help me with feedback and suggestions, which are always most appreciated, no matter if they're positive or negative. I take them to heart. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you find Monet's Cat as much fun and as much help as I do. Thanks, and goodbye.